How's it going, guys? Travis here from Tackle Bros. I'm joined by my good friend Dan Miguel from Great Lakes Finesse. Today we're going to be looking at all the new summer 2024 products from Great Lakes Finesse, and it's all available on the website right now. So if you go to the website, you type in Great Lakes Finesse, everything that is new for right now is going to be tagged as new. You can go on there, fill up your carts, come back, watch this video, and we'll go through all the new colors so you can see them all on the video. Also how Dan is fishing them, how we've been fishing them, rods, all that type of stuff. So yeah. Today we're talking about the 2024 summer product releases for Great Lakes Finesse. There's a lot of really cool stuff here.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Do you want to pick one and just kind of let's just roll right into it right
now. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a big release for us. A lot of the stuff is either heavily demanded, we wanted it. For me, the first one is one that this is kind of my baby, where in the sense where I felt like this was a really innovative product, one that solved a big problem for me.
Okay.
And that's the new hover minnow.
Sweet.
This thing is sweet.
Okay, so why is this needed? Let's go over that first.
Okay, so these new horizontal minnow, jig and a minnow techniques, mid-strolling, we call it the Cindy rig. We're finding now that there's just so many more boats guys using this technique. Starting to see that bite fade a little bit.
Everyone's using the same bait.
They're using the same baits.
Yep.
They're using the same minnow, jig head. They're shaking it. And I was thinking, okay, if I'm going to remain ahead as a tournament angler, I'm going to have to figure out how to get these fish where I used to get like almost all of them to bite. Now I'm finding that I'm only getting like 2 or 3 out of 10 to bite. How are we going to continue to keep this bite going? And for me, over a year and a half ago, it was like 2 years ago, I thought, okay, what is smallmouth like? Well, we know they like darting random actions.
Yep.
And they also love spiraling actions.
So
yes, they do. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't realize with tubes, is that spiraling action really brings them in. So, if I see a fish following my bait, what can I do to get that fish to bite? So that's where the whole premise of this bait started, was getting a reaction out of that fish that's following. So this bait has a hollow belly, like a concave belly. It's designed intentionally that way. The reason is it's going to hover and it's going to dart in random directions when you twitch the rod. So if I see a fish following, I can twitch the rod, it's going to dart in random directions.
Right.
It also spirals down. And something that a lot of anglers don't realize is smallmouth hate when the fish looks at them, when the bait looks at them. It just drives them nuts. I trigger a lot of bites making my baits do that. If you think about jerk bait, if you can get your jerk bait to spin right around and look at the fish, you're going to get that fish to bite. So for this bait, I wanted a bait where if I could see a fish following it, especially in a shallow water application on our sneaky swim bait head, I could be reeling it in, see that fish behind, drop it. The bait will actually spin right around, land on its belly because of the design.
Yep.
Sit there, look like it's trying to get away, but it's facing the fish, and that just triggers crazy bites.
So what's the length on this? Let's go. Let's start
2.75. So super finesse.
Yep.
When it's paired with our jig heads, it's around 3 inches.
Okay. Same. Everything has matte finish as usual.
Yep.
Neutral buoyant as well.
Yep. Neutrally buoyant.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. Neutrally buoyant. How many colors?
There's 14 different colors, all the same as the drop minnow. So it can be fished that way, but also the other way we fish it is vertically on our hanging head.
I could see that.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is a very deep concave in the belly.
Yep.
It looks similar to a drop minnow.
Yep.
But it is definitely in hand you can tell it's a lot different.
Yeah, for sure. Most of the baits, like a jig and a minnow bait, when you're imparting that action, most of the time it's just going straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down.
Yep.
This one, when you're jigging it, it wants to hover in different directions. And when you're vertically fishing it, it'll actually dart. When you jig it, it's not just going to go up and down. It's going to dart in a random direction. Think about like some of the most popular like jigging style baits for ice fishing.
I know what you're talking about.
Same kind of thing. You're getting that random, unpredictable action, but it's always going to hover and come back to center. And with that neutral buoyancy, it's just going to stay perfectly horizontal.
So as you're shaking this, it's going to have a fairly easy roll to it if you're just fishing it that way.
Yeah, it rolls, but it also, I call it hover darting, where
Okay.
it like hovers, but it darts.
That's cool. So I think that with this style of bait, that's something that everybody really struggles with, is actually getting the right action to work. A lot of guys are using too heavy rods, so as they're trying to shake it or just move it properly, all they're really doing is kind of darting it up and down. So it's good that, you know, the action is a little bit more built in and geared towards that. Whereas right now, most of the baits that everybody's using, they're not originally intended for this type of technique, right? So
Yep.
you guys have kind of put the technique first, and then however it looks is however it looks, right?
Yeah.
And it actually looks really, really good. So
yeah, I mean, something that people need to understand though, the typical jig head and a minnow style, I mean, there's so many names for it. If you were to use a traditional ball head, which most people do, this bait will actually flip upside down and sink. So they do need to be mindful of that they need a jig head that is heavier on the bottom. So this is like an upside down keel head design in our Swimbait, our sneaky Swimbait head and our hanging head.
Okay.
That is really important to get the right action. So it is kind of a system.
Okay.
And designed to pair with those two heads.
I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah, it's important. It's important.
Okay, so requires a proper hanging head, we'll just call it that, or Swimbait head, whichever. So for rods, I am very picky with, especially, this is more of a hover, obviously. For mid-strolling, I'm very picky with my rod. What rod are you throwing this?
So this is a pretty finessey head and jig head. So I typically, just a personal preference of mine, there's a lot of people who have a preference on how they're gonna fish this technique.
Yep.
I actually like something that's, 7.4 in that range, medium light. I'm able to still get that action with a super fast tip. Light line, that's kind of the exact same way we fish the Cindy rig, which is that straight drop minnow on a ball head retrieve. But I know that a lot of anglers have different preferences. I've just been able to make that system work. I think you probably have a different approach.
I do, yeah. So generally I actually like a shorter rod.
Yeah.
And I like a ultra fast, I like a solid tip or a stinger tip for that type of thing. I just feel like if I'm not using that type of tip, I tend to just do this more than actually do this.
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit different, but
I think what people need to realize is that it is with that style of fishing, they're typically trying to get that rolling action.
Where
and you need
are.
that stiffer tip. It's just more direct. Every time you move it, you don't want that whippiness or that flex in the tip to get that right action. For this one, you don't need that. You can get away with less precise tip movement.
Because you built the action in first.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So like a hair jig rod would be okay.
Hair jig rod, you could absolutely get away with.
So anything in that, higher sevens, medium light, faster tip, it's gonna be great. Okay, perfect.
I think what people do need to realize is that you're actually unlocking an entirely new bite. It is similar and still in that mid-strolling category, but it is a whole new bite that I feel like we've kind of created here.
Is there a reason for the fork tail, or just that just worked out to be that way?
Yeah, it's just we like that profile, something different. A lot of the time we're Cindy rigging with a drop minnow, maybe they're not biting that, so just giving them a different look. So that's kind of like the 1-2 punch, is the drop minnow or this with a different tail.
I like it with the fork tail.
Yeah,
it looks great.
Yeah,
we're gonna see a bunch of new colors in, again, this is like your OG bait, drop minnow.
Yep.
You want to talk about the colors and why you picked them?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is demand. I'm very much a solid pattern angler, black, green pumpkin. I keep it really simple.
Same.
But there are a lot of scenarios where a laminate, like minnow style pattern is really good. So we came up with 4 new colors. Really, one is mine, the watermelon pearl. So that's this guy here.
Yep.
So that guy there.
This guy here, watermelon pearl.
So that's probably my favorite minnow color pattern that I fish. So that was mine that I really liked. Jason Christie really wanted the smelt pattern. So that's a new pattern that he helped design this one. This is smelt. He loves this color, uses it a lot.
What's this one?
This one is Gizzard Shad. Stetson Blaylock, who's also on our team, Fishing the Elite Series, he really wanted this color for fishing. Down south especially.
That's a really cool one.
Yeah, it works really well up here too. And then Firecraw.
Gotta have this.
Again, this is Stetson's.
Straight south right there.
Yeah, this is really south. It's like a red-orange Firecraw color.
Really popular color.
Really popular color.
In everything.
Everything, and it's just a reaction color up here. I hadn't used it until we started using it, until we started making it for Stetson. And I've actually got a lot of confidence in it now.
Yeah, it's a great color. I like that you're kind of expanding the color line in it. The ones you have, I mean, I know that I have a million packs of the black, I have a million packs of the green pumpkin, but it is definitely nice to see, especially, I really like this guy.
Yeah, and it also leads us into our new 3.25 inch version. So the original is a 2.75 inch version. This is our new 3.25 inch version, which is basically an ½ inch bigger. So not only is it longer, but it's also beefier. So the body profile overall is just a bigger, beefier profile. Highly requested. People love this size. We're getting requests all the time. And for us, on some of the fisheries that have bigger bait fish like St. Clair, or even in the midsummer when our bait fish get a little bit bigger and they're keying in on that, this is a really good option for, I mean, for us, this is a good drop shot bait, or, you know, hanging bait. Just good option, good size now that people really want.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, you can really kind of see it's actually pretty substantial, the size difference. It's still subtle, but it is quite a bit bigger there. So
yeah, I think people who might not be as into the micro finesse fishing, this will be a size that they feel a lot more comfortable with and have more confidence in.
This is definitely a more like universal size, I would say. Like, this is something that, like, it's not intimidating. You're gonna feel like it's gonna match up with, you know, most fisheries have something at least this size in it. I think it's a good addition. Every color again?
Yeah, same, all 14 colors. So as the hover minnow, also a really good finesse chatterbait trailer. We're getting feedback from our pros on that.
Is there anything that would you fish this differently than you would the 275?
I'd fish it the exact same.
Okay.
Just if there's a large, if you feel like they're keying in on like bait that are a little bit bigger, then this is a good option for you. Up
north, generally we spend a lot of time under ice, so our forage kind of it's a lot far behind the south. So south guys might start with this. Yep. We're still up here. You're probably still going to want to start with that 275, and then, like you were saying, as the summer progresses and some of that bait has a little bit of time to grow and evolve, you can kind of now stick with your favorite colors, upsize, still matte, still neutral buoyant. That's a really cool one.
Yep.
Okay, let's do. This is the one I'm most excited about.
Let's you talk about it.
Let's do the one that I'm most excited about. So this is, what are we calling this one?
This is the finesse matte finesse jig.
So these are the matte finesse jigs. I'm a sucker for finesse jigs. So what weights are these going to be available on?
1/8 ounce and 3/16 ounce.
1/8 ounce and 3/16. Okay. Built on the same ball head, basically just a skirted ball head.
Yeah. Gamakatsu 604, powder coated, baked. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I like that you left the skirt kind of long so you can kind of build your own skirt. I mean, you can see it here. It obviously pairs up really well with the snack craw. This one you've already trimmed down, I can see.
Yep.
This is needed. So most of you guys maybe aren't ultra familiar with small jigs. I've been fishing these forever. This is something that I constantly have tied on. I have dedicated rods just for finesse jigs, and it's nice to see something that's in a little bit more, I would say, North American natural colors. The JDM ones that we carry are amazing, but a lot of the times they're more ebby colored, they're more shrimp colored. You're gonna have, obviously, I mean, sometimes you get black, but this is just a real proper black. The head's gonna be durable, baked on, same thing as before. You wanna run through the colors really quickly? All of them look great.
Yeah, I mean, we kept it really simple. I mean, I'm a firm believer in keeping it simple. So, you know, just your straight green pumpkin.
Yep.
So that's just a fine, our material is a very fine skirt as well. This is your matte black.
Perfect.
Green pumpkin brown. Yep. This is the straight brown. This is the black brown. And this is the green pumpkin black.
That's really cool. I like to see these. Like I said, it's really hard to find a nice finesse, you know, a nice finesse jig in general, let alone in North American colors with a gamey hook. So
yep.
We're really excited to see these ones. And then from there, you want to talk about these?
Yeah, so this is the
skirtless footballs.
Yeah, this is kind of needed. This is the new Stealth football head, which is really just the evolution of the Stealth ball head. A lot of people request it. We're fishing a lot around rocks down here, and just comes through rock really well, whereas the ball head is really good for rock weed.
Yep.
I find it comes through that really well. So just a really good option if you're trying to crawl it through the rocks, and it pairs with our snack craw, Helgermite. Yeah, it comes in a few different sizes, 1/8 ounce all the way to 3/8 ounce. So we got you covered there.
This is something I've been using forever. We did a video a couple weeks ago where I talked about some of the different ways that we fish this and when it's situational to have a skirt on and when not to have a skirt. I think actually one of my favorite baits that I recommended was that snack craw directly on this. So I know a lot of guys have been using the ball head up until now, but now
it just gives you options here. So a lot of demand. A lot of people reaching out asking for a football head version. So
I think it's
there you
really,
go. Yep.
yeah, I think it's really cool. Let's go with new colors in these, and then we'll get to the last couple things.
So yeah, one bait that kind of flies under the radar for us is the drop worm. We love fishing a drop shot worm. We were always missing a matte black and a morning dawn, so now we've got those two colors.
Yeah, this morning dawn is actually really nice. It's really subtle. I like it more in matte than I ever thought that I would. So that's a really, really cool one. And then obviously, I don't know how you missed this for so long, but
yeah, we just missed that by accident.
yeah,
That wasn't intentional.
that's a weird one. You gotta have a matte black worm. So
Yep.
okay, so that's cool to see those. And then
3 new colors in the all of our basically bait fish head terminal. So the sneaky underspin,
bro,
the Swimbait head.
like this one is nuts.
Yeah, Swimbait head and the hanging head. So 3 new colors.
So what's this one called that I'm holding?
That one is the matte perch.
Matte perch.
Yep.
So really nice green pumpkin. You're gonna have that orange underbelly, supernatural perch looking color.
Yep.
Really, really glad to see that. So that's gonna be available in everything, right?
Yeah, all the heads.
It's gonna be in the hanging head. There we go, hanging head. And then also in just the standard swimbait head. So are all these available in all 3 or just this one?
All of these colors are going to be available on all 3.
Wicked.
Just a full color extension.
Okay, so then we're gonna have the green pumpkin. So I don't know how you missed this one.
Yeah,
last time.
matte green pumpkin.
Matte green pumpkin, really cool color there. So that's gonna be available in all 3 of your head styles.
Yep.
And then finally, you're gonna have the
Chartreuse shad. Yep.
chartreuse shad. Pretty standard, all 3.
Yep.
Definitely needed.
Yeah, so that's the release. We're really excited about it. A lot of stuff in there that, you know, either really requested or I just felt was absolutely needed. And
That jig's pretty badass, dude.
I know you like the jig.
I really like the jig.
Wait till you try the hover minnow.
Simple things that excite me. Yeah, the hover minnow looks great as well. I'm happy that it's action first because, like I said, a lot of the baits that guys are using now, action just happened to work out.
Yeah.
And I know this is a little bit different. It's kind of like a hover / stroll / darting action. So it's good to see that. I'm just happy that it's action first, and maybe it'll be easier for guys to get into this technique when it's not so rod reliant. You don't need most of the rods for mid strolling right now are like $800-900. So
Yeah.
you already own the rod to throw this on.
Yeah.
If you live, if
The
you
bait
live,
will have a pile of action without needing to be very precise, and that's what we're looking for. And really, it's a whole different action that you've probably ever seen before.
That's awesome, man. I'm
Yep.
excited about it. Really, I'm really happy with the colors of everything you did as well. This little perch head is gonna be absolutely money. All right, dude. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
I
thank
love
you
all
very
the stuff, and we're excited to get it in you guys' hands. If you are catching fish on these, definitely tag Great Lakes Finesse on Instagram. Check out their YouTube channel as well. They have a bunch of really good informational stuff on how to fish all this. Give us a follow as well if you are new here, and thanks for hanging out.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.